roll call, please.
Annabelle Jeanette. Here. Melanie Scareover. Michael Cantor.
Here.
Julie McDonald. Here. Janelle McKinley. Here. Jim C.
Here. Agenda. Motion's been made and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. All in favor? Opposed? So move on. Hearing from the public, we're open for public comment right now.
Well, is this the only opportunity to comment on ordinance 744? Or the ATV?
Something pertinent to that.
Yeah, that, I think that might be a better place. I just want.
Yeah. Ordinance number 744, establishing regulations for all-purpose vehicles on Craig roadways.
This is still just in public comments questions. We'll pick these up a little bit down the agenda.
All of them. All right. Reports, city administrator.
So I submitted a written report, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of quick additions. The first is their loss, our gain. A couple communities in the state chose not to take their ARPA money. So we have another $8,000 or so added to our ARPA funds. We've got 4,000 of it yesterday, and we'll get 4,000 with the other $353,000 sometime later this year. The second thing is I want to welcome Samantha Wilson, who's sitting over here. I hired Samantha as our new city planner this week, so she's jumped into it. And I feel a great big sign of relief having somebody in office. So Samantha's going to do a great job, and I'm happy to have her on staff. And the third thing is I just want to share my appreciation for Victoria and the 4th of July, or for the Centennial Committee. What a fantastic, I was there Tuesday night. I hope you felt the same way. What a fantastic event that well pulled off, and a great way to celebrate our 100th anniversary. So thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Treasurer.
It's just here.
Hi there.
I submitted a report and we have the answer any questions. If you guys have any.
None at this time. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Aquatic management.
I also submitted a report and you have your answer any questions.
Cool.
Just a comment on 17, Chris has resigned again. He does so well and so much for.
City clerk.
All the council items updated with the exception of Mr. Steve, and he's going to drop that off with me this evening. And the next council meeting is March 17th, 2022.
City planner.
I didn't make a report next week. I just hired her. I have a report that we have to be happy to answer any planning questions.
I can make it work.
What's the next plan to do? March 24th.
All right. Any questions on that? Fire and EMS, me, pretty sick tonight.
There is a written report in the packet. I could attempt to answer, it, but
What she's been working on a grant, to get our new hazmat suits and air tanks and stuff. Those would come in handy. We had a little slight, little ammonia leak in town, but we're all right. It wasn't bad.
we'll be ready for the next week.
That's it. All right.
I have a question. Where did, at one point I was staying up on it and I lost track. Where did the container ever go? That emergency container for the island? It's up at the pool. You got the pool now?
Well, the city has one at the pool, and there's still some supplies in the container up there. I hope the island-wide one is moved over to the lock. Keeping it over there.
Boat tent? Okay, so they should go to the boat tent. And then everything's been restocked in our city one, correct?
Yes. We've increased the stockpile, some of the stuff that we didn't have in the city. So by the time we spent off the CARES money last year, we had to replace all the supplies from that. food money.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I've submitted a written report and just have two things to add. We have a harbor advisory committee meeting scheduled for March 10th. Need to reach out to the committee and check everyone's availability to see if that date still works. Also, the ice house we had, the ice house is controlled by a small touchscreen computer. The screen on that computer went down right at the same time that the rakes needed to be calibrated. So we could turn the ice maker on, but then it would fall to out because the rake was out of calibration. So we ordered a new computer. We were told that there was a 1 week lead time on this computer. In the meantime, we tried it a couple more times and it started working. So as of now, we're calibrated and we're making ice. Today, I just found out that the thing has, they're not gonna have it to us till the 21st of March is when they're expected to have it available. So when we get that to us, we'll install it, and I'm gonna try to look at sending that old computer, it's just a screen that's bad, to see if someone could refurbish it, to put a new screen in it. The $2,800 computer, and it's probably a $200 or $300 screen. So we get that as a spare part to have on the shelf. if something happens again. So we are making ice. We're getting ready for the halibut fleet to start fishing. We're word that there's going to be a bunch of longliners coming through here. So. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
I just had a quick one, the North Harbor leak, was that like a substantial or?
It was a, well, they all add up. It wasn't a huge leak as far as size wise, but it ended up probably leaking 30,000 gallons of water. So it was about the size of a pencil, was the whole size.
Yeah.
So.
Library.
Hi, this is Patricia. I submitted a report. The only update was that I was able to submit the grant with last week. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Any questions? Library. None? Thank you, Patricia. Police chief.
Submitted a report, a couple things to add. One is that hired a new dispatcher, Jeff Barnes. He's only interested in part-time, but he's willing to commit to the 2 to 3 months of training that it's gonna take. Then also I'm looking at losing the dispatcher for 2 to 3 months for some maternity leave, and he's willing to fill in for that. So that's gonna help out. My other part-time dispatcher that's working is actually working 30 hours a week, so almost full-time. She wants to go full-time, but has an issue with just childcare because she has a special high-risk child. The officer that's been hired is gonna be up here a little bit earlier than May. He was gonna try to get up here the first week of April, but because of the ferries, I think it's gonna be like the 15th or 16th of April. So we'll get a couple extra weeks out of him. I was hoping for the full month, but I'm getting applications for the sergeant and the officer position that we have open, but none that have made it to where I would even make an offer at this point. So we still have those two vacancies. I had one other thing. Doug and his crew finished out the final installation of the new video system that we have at the police station. Not all the cameras are audio recorded. And now we have 6 that are doing audio. The officers, when people are arrested and other things that transpire are recorded audio anyway, but at least this way, if you watch a video, you're gonna have video and audio playing at the same time instead of trying to match up certain things. So that's been a pretty painful process getting all that done, but Doug and Terry went above and beyond, in my opinion, as far as going up in the attic, stringing everything, saved me from having to do it, so I do appreciate that. And Doug is, but I mean, Doug is a whiz when it comes to the, it's not a DVR unit, it's an NVR type system, and programming it and getting it up and running, making it really less of an inconvenience for me by having him do it, and then him just showing me what I need to do to operate it. Because being shorthanded down with basically just 3 of us working, with all my extra duties that I get to do, I also get to arrest a lot more people now because I'm covering a lot more hours on the street, but it is what it is. So we're just day at a time. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mike?
I'd just like to acknowledge the award for Officer Conley.
That was the one thing I forgot to bring up. I mean, I put it in the packet, but yeah, I used a ruse and got him over to catch a can. He had no idea that it was gonna happen. So he was quite shocked. And then it also worked out really good on the return trip. I got some drug intel to the drug bust rate on the ferry as well. Yeah, so I went over to so he could get the award, and then on the way back, the drug bust brought the person in and booked him in a jail.
So that just means the trip is covered now then.
Good.
Wait, it was wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, good.
Well, the other thing, what I'd like to say is I think is really commendable about that is that everybody's patience. And,
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's multiple times that either myself, my officers, the troopers that legally under the color of the authority of statutory law that we can shoot people. But we don't want to do that. I mean, that's the exact, the last resort. And there was multiple times that he could have been legally shot, but everybody that was there worked for a peaceful resolution. I had to do it by telephone because I just had knee surgery, and they wouldn't let me come over there on crutches, so.
that's my point. You guys took patience and
Oh, yeah.
took time to do it right, so congratulations.
EMS was there and it was handled very well, but the truth was done by our people, so.
Yeah.
It's handled very well. Anyway, Public Works.
Well, we're glad that starting to have the winter.
It's gonna snow.
They said it's hopefully we don't have much more snow. But anyway, that being said, we're gonna start sweeping the streets here probably next week and start doing some brushing here within the next 2 weeks. Trying to get on top of that. We'll start inside the city first and then move out on Port St. Nicholas Road and towards the Waterline Road. far as your water treatment plant is concerned, we did have in February, middle of February, we had some issues with the SCADA system. But we were able to work with Boreal Controls and get that taken care of. But we are looking to have to update, to do some updating with the system. So we're in the process of getting a couple of quotes on that, one from BSI or BCI, and then there's another company up in Juneau that we'll be looking at some numbers with. On the sewer side of things, the biggest thing that's that we're working on is the roofing project. We'll be meeting with some engineers tomorrow for the pre-bid for the RFP that we put out for that roofing project. And so actually things are moving on pretty quickly on that. So we're hoping to be in construction on the roof, you know, end of July, beginning of August, hopefully. And then of course you do have a new garbage truck, rear load garbage truck that's supposed to be here probably within the next 10 days or so. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. That's about where we're at in public works.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Move on to recreation.
Fireworks tomorrow at 7. Now, this is not a big fireworks display. This is like a birthday candle that just goes up. It's beautiful, and we blow it out, and that's it. But they are going to blow off personal fireworks, which I hope nobody has any between 5 and 9. So that's, I want to thank everybody who helped with this committee. We've been meeting for 1.5 years. We've accomplished a lot. If you haven't seen it, please take a look at the video that Katrina put together. It's fantastic.
Is that the one that's on Facebook?
Yeah.
I watched it about an hour ago. And I mean, yeah, whoever did that, phenomenal.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's history. It's going to be there for, you know, for a long time. Anyway, so we had a great time. We had the Hill Bar was fantastic. Ralph Mackey was the host. We live streamed that. I'm learning a lot about live streaming. I'm going to get better at it, and then I'm going to retire. And then the dinner, I can't thank everyone enough for all the help I got. Cheryl helped set up. Cheryl also opened up the displays on Wednesday, and we had like 30 people walk through too to see all of the, a little glimpse of history. We had it set up with a timeline all the way around. Samantha helped. I've got a whole list of people. It was great, and I am exhausted, which is personal problem. Anyway, so we're going to have the fireworks on Friday, but they're probably not going to be able to clean everything up. So I've tried to schedule a cleanup for Saturday. So I've got some bags down at the harbor on the thing. I'm going to bring my broom and my great big dustpan, and we're going to try and sweep off where the fireworks was. And hopefully people will just clean up around town. And then we'll have hopefully a free throw contest at 6 o'clock on Saturday at the city gym. And then the finale is the big TK's and the Craig Inn. We're going to have Doug Rhodes host another evening of music, song, poetry, stories, and then the centennial celebration part will be over. Then next week we start, what is that? Then we're going to start gymnastics and ballet, and then I'm leaving to get my eye fix. I'll be able to see you guys really well when I come back. But I'll be gone the 19th to the 29th. I'll be so, everything's going to be so good. Anyway, and Brian did steal Samantha from me, but it's okay. It's for a good cause. She'll do a great job. But we'll figure things out. Do you guys have any questions? Don't be afraid.
Are bags gonna be handed out at 10 or?
At 10, at 10. Yeah, because I want to get it over and done with. So that's my story.
Great job.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks for your help.
In our shop.
Great.
Had a lot of fun.
Fireworks, what are those fireworks in our shop?
That's what we're blowing up
Okay. When do you need to get rid of that?
tomorrow.
Park and Rec.
I failed to meet the deadline to get my written report in. Not much new report. We're looking for grass to start growing and getting back outside on those projects. If you have to answer any questions, all right, that's all I've got.
I kept the, boys busy today, kept the tree over there, shade yard.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. What is this? From Power on down?
Spruce.
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 I get those two streets next up. When you get to the bottom of the hill, when the salmonberry bushes grow,
Okay.
I mean, that corner really needs to be cut back.
Okay. Is that on city property or is it on the right of way there?
It's at the corner of, it's at the bottom of the hill, I don't exactly know what you're talking about. Because it's not a stop sign for those people coming through that way.
It's on the street.
It's on the screws, but I'm trying to.
Well, there's that little triangle thing.
Right.
It comes down to Sixth Street, Sixth Street, East Road, and Spruce.
Yeah, right.
I'll make a note of that in our
It's the northwest.
Yeah, it's time to start cutting stuff. Anyway, we had a good kelp meeting, and I rushed back down from Juneau for. I thought it was pretty important. Left Brian up here to deal with a politician. And we mentioned it too, the lieutenant governor to get Fred Hamilton recognized for being 101 years old. And somehow they got it through the House and Senate. In the state to recognize it. We haven't got the actual plaque yet. But, show us the third round. Read it at the party the other night at the gym Victoria had. About it for me. Anyway, we'll move on to reading the correspondence.
Well, just a letter from the Tribal Association and the public transit, funding help. Is that something we want to put in their new business for just discussion or the next meeting, maybe on the next agenda? And the other thing on the reading correspondence with the mental health is putting up the rest of the we're up at Harrison Path Ferry Terminal. So all the way around the board.
All the way to that log.
All the way around for built for Harrison.
CTA letter, I'm glad that you suggested moving it to the next meeting. It would be beneficial if we could get from the CTA, the total, I'd like to see the total annual cost, just to let you know. So you think you could have them to that concept? Yes.
You just send that to me, that.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is gonna be an annual thing where they run out of money, and can't keep funding it, or you know.
Well, we knew even before we got started that it wasn't gonna be a money maker. And, oh man, have we had that subsidized it, but it's a great service. The service seems to be picking up, so it's definitely a need.
Can you get numbers on it for right
Yes.
as possible?
Yes.
But they did in there 250 to 300 passengers per month. And then they are trying to get a grant for 2023, I think it was. Yeah.
My understanding, operational rates are really hard to come by,
I bet.
very difficult. Help them out of what they're gonna do yet, but we'll maybe we'll find out more.
I'll talk to Peter Dawson. Thank you, Lauren.
We want to discuss this mental health. All the stuff and everything.
Is there anything to do? No, that's right.
It's a notice of the sale and it isn't, you know, responding there.
And the offer to respond is not necessarily an opportunity to comment so much as it is to make a competing offer on the land,
Right.
on the timber sale. So really what they're advertising is allowing people to buy the timber sale.
So the Nature Conservancy thought it, just keep it on water, right? Mike. you can check for that. All right. See what else. Consideration of resolutions and ordinances, ordinance number 744, establishing regulations for all-purpose vehicles use on Craig roadways.
So this is a little odd, Mr. Mayor. Normally, first reading, we read the consent agenda. But really, the council, if the council wants to go some other direction other than allowing the ATVs and establishing restrictions, then now is the time for the council to give us some direction so that we can get an ordinance passed by the end of this month, which is when our moratorium runs out. So, so I put it under reading consideration of resolutions and ordinances on the agenda, just specifically so the council can have a discussion about whether this was the right direction for ordinance, or if the council wanted to extend the moratorium and have more discussion about the ordinance, or if the council wanted us to change the ordinance and go the other direction and prohibit ATV use. So, appreciate any input that the council has, and we'll follow that direction.
I personally think the state of Alaska has lost their mind. How many people are gonna get killed on top of Cove Road? The people buy that road in the cars at 60 when it's posted at 40. And come around the corner and that ATV kid is doing 50 and he's over in your lane. This is, I don't know what is the matter. I have PSA 175 for 20 years here, and I couldn't ride it on the street. It had a headlight and taillight, but it wasn't manufactured with turn signals. So I couldn't ride it on the street. You still can't ride it on the street under their stupid law. Only one of these things that are way more dangerous than a motorcycle. It's like, I got real heartburn with this. We're gonna have so many people get hurt. Like I said before, I know how many people were chasing the roadways on them before it was even slightly legal to be on the roadway. And you have a hard time catching them. Most of the time, they rapidly do catch them, so then you take them to the clinic before you can take them to jail. If there were a way to, I mean, those neat mid-side ones that have turn signals and headlights and tail lights, that's one thing, but ATVs on the roadways.
Arizona's had them for years. They seem to be doing good. It's hard to just put a no on something without even allowing people to try it.
I've been in Arizona a lot, I've never seen one on that.
Yeah.
Ever.
My dad lived out there for a whole year. And my brother
Was it
lived right.
in a particular town?
They were down in Arizoona, close to the border, but they were close to Tucson as well.
I mean, I understand that it's new and different, and some people abuse situations, just like with anything, a motorcycle, a car, a bicycle, skateboard. But that doesn't mean that we should punish people wholly about it.
Mike?
I do have concerns about this as well. I do, one thing in here I asked for that's in here that I'd like, we have a sunset date on this in 1 year. Which gives us the opportunity, it requires us the opportunity to evaluate this. And, I have some misgivings, but we're trying for a year, but at the end of the year, we should evaluate this. If it ends up being that there's problems, we can rescind it. It'll automatically be rescinded, or we can make adjustments. That. And then the one question I have in terms of some of the requirements here, it might go under nuisance, but some ATVs, they have modified. Some. I don't see that addressed directly in here. Is that going to nuisance or a way to address that?
We can address it under what the state law already has for as far as the bafflers, the mufflers, whether you got glass packs, things of that nature. If it's a loud muffler, they can receive tickets regardless if this is passed or not.
Okay. I mean, that's.
Some of our motorcycles in town.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, that was actually gonna be one of my comments, was this term nuisance, and that it didn't really specifically address noise. And I don't know whether there's like a decibel level or something that is put in anywhere that addresses that, but yeah, I have a similar concern to.
All I need is somebody to say that it's bothering them, it's too loud. And if they're willing to go to court, if I give somebody a ticket under the state law. So I mean, it wouldn't hurt maybe to put something under the city ordinance for this particular code, but we've already adopted sections of 13 AAC, 17 AAC, 28. So that there's laws that are already on the books that I can still write somebody under the state code and the city's still going to get the money. And the muffler thing is one of those that falls under that. It's already in place that if I write somebody a muffler ticket, the city's gonna get the money except for the surcharge.
If they continue to do it, we'll have you forward.
Yeah, we do have the impound, and we do have the authority to impound and hold the vehicle. Then we can go for forfeiture of it if we want to, or we can at least keep it until the criminal matter is resolved.
Criminal responsibility law or portion there.
Well, I mean-
We're taking aware of it, made aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's gonna be a tough one to prove and enforce. I mean, all the parents have to do is tell me that they didn't know that the kid took the bike. It's no different. There's laws on right now that prohibit people from letting people borrow their vehicles if they know that the person doesn't have a license. But they're tough to prove. Knowing and proving is there's separation.
Hey, can I ask a quick one?
Go ahead, Shirley.
Yeah, I guess, and I apologize for not, we weren't here for the meetings, and it looks like reading the ordinance, there's been a considerable amount of work done on it. I know it looks like there was a lot of effort and it looked actually pretty good. But for me, I guess, I don't really, what is it gonna look like? I mean, I just have no idea what this is gonna mean come March for Craig. I mean, what is it? Just a few little buggies riding around, or, I mean, I know what it looks like in Coffin Cove sometimes, but I guess I don't know what it means for Craig.
Well, I understand the input I've got, people that are concerned about, most would be the side-by-side ATVs that people want to drive around, or like a golf cart, whatever.
And some of those are just like little cars, right?
They
I mean,
are.
They don't make a lot of noise, but
They're
there's
not
some
like
old
normal
models that.
four-wheeler that you're taking off-road on, and both of them have turn signals on them, so they require under our ordinance to allow them on the street. So it'll mostly be those side-by-side type things. There's been some of these people in town that had interest in having this passed, so they could bring that type of vehicle, and So. I say, we're willing to give it a try, but we have a sunset clause in there. And if we don't like it, if they mistreat it or abuse it, it'll go away next March. Pretty much that simple. Like,
Yeah, under section 1014.045, citation for defective equipment would be, just so that it's completely clear, we maybe add a citation for defective or altered equipment, and then put a C in there that says, authors, however, I would leave that up to, the police chief and then Brian to word it, but I'd like to have it really, I think it should be really clear that noise abatement is.
Yeah, that wouldn't take much time at all.
And this is, again, this is a little unusual for us for ordinances to put an ordinance up for discussion at first reading on purpose. But the bottom line is, if you pass this tonight, it's still only first reading of the ordinance. The ordinance comes back at the next meeting for second reading, which will be, we'll bring some of the language changes back in an amended ordinance, but council will also still have a chance to make any edits to that final ordinance before choosing to pass it on 17th.
I was just saying, I think it's good to bring it early and give us this opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, two things. Number one, we first need to adopt this, we should have adopted it before discussion. And number two, I see both sides of this coin, but when it first came up, my red flags went up and my gut feeling went up. But I'm from the old school, but I'm, we have to go ahead and try it for a year and see what's gonna work or not. But it scares me more than anything, it scares me.
scared me, it's been brought up also.
So I move to adopt. What's the number? 742. Yes.
Second on that. Been made and seconded on adopting ordinance 744, establishing regulations for all-purpose vehicle use on creek roadways. Any more discussion on this? Mike?
Just asking that, I'm sure this is the case, but will be approved with me with the suggested authorizations.
Okay. Yes, edits.
Yes, yes.
This is still.
Right.
Yeah, we'll make this edits.
Anything else, Cheryl?
Just one question about, I guess, it looks to me like there's gonna be a whole, another level of enforcement. And like I said, I don't know really what it's gonna look like. I mean, maybe it's not gonna mean that much extra chasing around or whatever. But I hope we're prepared to deal with whatever extra level that's gonna mean for so much.
Well, I mean, my standpoint is that, because normally we're not heavy handed on writing tickets. Usually, we probably do 15 warnings to every ticket that we actually issue. When it comes to these, that's not going to be the case. If you're caught speeding, you're going to get a ticket. If you're caught rather reckless, the bike's going to be impounded and you're probably going to get charged criminal. My gut tells me that this is going to go one of two ways. One, people are going to honor the chance, especially like the side by sides and some of the business owners, being able to just go from your house to the store and back. We're not going to see too much trouble, or it's going to go to the other side. It's going to be a free for all. So having the basically being able to opt out, I think is really beneficial. So it's going to be a wait and see what the people do with, I guess, the benefit of this.
Well, I'm excited to see it in play and see the city of Craig and show that we know how to operate machinery and use it responsibly and take these new laws and put them in play.
I think just being registered and insured, that's gonna eliminate a lot of people from this, not using it. Or it should.
But, yeah, we get a lot of people that, the law states that you're supposed to have insurance on your vehicle, but we probably 10 a month, we get people without insurance. I mean, we try to give the people the option, if I stop you, you don't have insurance, I usually give the person 24 hours and say, look, go buy a 6-month policy, spend the money, get insured, otherwise it's gonna be a $520, $20 ticket the next time. So we try to get people into compliance, but there's a lot of people that they refuse to do it, or they don't have the means to do it.
Hopefully it's not.
I think the key is getting this information out there. I think if the city does adopt this ordinance, the key is getting the info out there that though these are the things you need. You need to be insured and it needs to be registered. Those are things that is gonna make Chief's life easier, and it's gonna be a deterrent on top of that. You are gonna see that most of the people that are gonna do this are very responsible people because of the hoops they're gonna have to jump through to get something like this. It's, it's not like they get a free 4-wheeler just because now they, you can ride them around. So I think it's great that you guys are willing to give it a chance before we just shoot it down. I think this community will live up to the standard.
In the past 2 weeks, I know of 4 people that have registered ATVs. Personally, I would like to see them show insurance when they get them registered, but the law doesn't require that. They just check a box, they just have insurance. That honor system. Most people are, but these are really decent people, and I don't think they would use an ordinance like this. But they're already going through that process, regardless if the city adopts this or not.
I had the same thought along what Jay was sharing is, because the state that they want to publicity, and then people are gonna see people driving in Craig and they think, oh, Craig did adopt what the state did. I think there's a responsibility at our end to really get the information out to the public that we do have some tighter regulations than the state. I don't know if that's an article that I post or how we do that, but I do think we need to make sure people are aware.
Be posted on the city website as well. We'll probably post Disney Island.
Yeah. I did.
Put out, and people don't read it, that's on them.
Yeah.
We can even post it inside the DMV and right on the counter where they stand to do their transaction, what the city code is.
We have one.
I think the school, going to the schools would be a good idea too, right out of the gate. Even if we could just post something there or have it announced or whatever, because you're gonna have a lot of kids be excited about something like this and knowing that, the parents have to be involved, that it has to be registered, things have to go on would be. And I know we could just go, hey, go for it, but, I feel like because, I've kind of been pushing for this a little bit, that I feel even responsible to get that out there. So I would be willing to, do those types of things, stop by the school, hand out pamphlets, even after school. If we had something that was put together that we could just, say, here, this is what's going on, get the word out there. It would make it easier for everybody. There's no need to start out, behind it. Let's get in front of it. So.
My big fear is you're gonna have a lot of kids that see people riding around and then think, oh, well, I'll go jump on my dad. Here I go. And that's the biggest fear I have. Hopefully we don't see that.
Information is key.
Call for the question.
What is it, like?
Smith,
Yes.
Joanne Fair,
Yes.
Michael Campbell,
Yes.
Julie McDonald,
Yes.
Sharon Freeman, Tim Peake,
Yes.
Council.
Then I hope these people realize. Take care of business on this. Okay, moving on to resolution 28-08 capitalization of the trade capital reserve fund. Adopt and second the 2208 capitalization trade capital reserve fund. Any discussion?
Good idea.
Everyone else? Good. Roll call, please.
Linda Smith,
Yes.
Joanne Fair,
Yes.
Michael Campbell,
Yes.
Julie McDonald, yes. Sharon Freeman, Tim Peake,
Yes.
resolution.
Okay, business. Skid steer purchase recommendation. That's now changed his mind, he wants on there. Anybody? Want to bring that on down? Pictures of it. Pretty well, right? Look at the snow off the sidewalk. Yeah. Have to get with the snow blower.
I make a motion to purchase the run track.
Motion been made.
Second.
And seconded. To move along with the skid steer purchase. Except we're gonna buy
Stu.
Yeah. It's an actually a very versatile piece of
It's
equipment.
multi-purpose.
Buying almost every option on the banner.
We're taking over the field prep for the Little League too this year, so we've got the ball field attachments to screen it and to do potholes in the streets of the trails, yeah, it's, but
It would ruin the fields and it'll do the track, the road, the trail going down, Craig Trail.
There's still attachments that we're not buying, but the $82,000 work includes a number of. attachments right up front.
I was a little tired at this point in the packet when I was reading it, and at first when I was looking at it, I thought this was multiple pieces of equipment we were buying, so I was excited when I realized it all.
Came in the package.
Yeah, it's pretty versatile.
It is personal. I think it'd be useful. That's worth by it.
well, yeah, I'm putting my name on it. I hope it stands up to what I'm counting, but if it meets the goal of what we were after was the snow removal was the biggest. We're just getting the bonus of getting better, I'm in need of new lawn equipment anyway. So this is kind of a killing two birds with one stone. So it'll get a lot of use, I think, so.
Well, and then it also won't sit, we use. it
Yes.
All winter and then it sits till next winter.
Well, it'll sweep that gravel off the sidewalk too. The
Yeah.
stuff that's on there right now that
Yeah.
from winter, it'll clean up the sides of the road. It'll push that gravel to one side and take care of it somehow one way or another. Like they said, it's pretty versatile piece of equipment. Well, let carry. Yeah.
Council's already appropriated funds for this, so this really is just not opportunity for the council to approve this piece of equipment.
So. Everybody in favor of that purchase? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
This is for the city, it's not for me. Oh, that. The snow removal.
Now the ordinance to be able to drive down the street.
There we go. All right, moving on to the 2022, 2023 1 year of medevac insurance.
to approve a contract with Air Medicare to provide 1 year of Medicare insurance coverage to Craig households at a cost of $47,000.
Been made and seconded to approve the purchase of another 1 year contract with back insurance coverage for the city of Craig residents.
I'm one comment, I'm all for doing this, and I think it was good that we got 2 quotes this time because of just one. The only thing is, I do them after advertising, I just want to make sure, 'cause I hate to waste any money, so I want to make sure like it's well publicized again, so people don't buy it. Or if they have it, they could follow it. So I think we did a really good job last year of advertising that letting people know, so I want to, I'm for doing this, but I want to encourage that, what we did last year.
And I'll say we have a huge head start, because we get phone calls weekly from folks wondering.
Oh, really?
where this if this program. Then we need.
Yeah, and make sure people know it's from CARES Act money, this is not. Going to go on.
Right. Well, I stopped and talked to one of our medevac people yesterday, right in his home. And he didn't even know we had this, and they paid for it. And we were over 2 months.
Yeah.
And these guys went ahead and covered him anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they covered him anyway. And he were over 2 past, but, or 2 months after the deadline.
Oh.
So that was good. I know 3 other people that right there, and so paid for what we paid to get this coverage.
Yeah, greatly appreciated, so.
More people that got medevac that didn't have to pay for it.
We will publicize this.
Yeah, it was a really good deal. I don't remember what all happened last year, but I remember it was well.
This guy had to go all the way to Seattle, and that's at least an $80,000 ticket. So, anyway, all in favor of that?
Right.
Any opposed? No, hearing none. The buy insurance. Yeah. Great Child Care Center repair and premium pay request.
We'll appropriate up to $12,000 make repairs to travel care center building. Is that line in the memo? February 2nd, 2022, and appropriate $5,000 for premium paid child care center premium pay expire on 1st, 2020.
Made and seconded. Funding for the Child Care Center repairs and premium pay request. Open for discussion.
I've got this thing. So the repair portion, I have no problems about. I mean, technically, they're supposed to do the inside, but it's a sink and a toilet, like. So the repair portion of the request, I have, I'm for. It's the premium pay. I'm just really, I'm definitely not anti-daycare. I really, as an employer, I want a good daycare program. I really do. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, and maybe I'm the only one, but like, in the comments in the daycare this year, because they had 4 employees and 9 kids. And that they needed to reach 15 to 20 kids in order to be self-sustaining. That just makes me wonder why do they only have, because one of the problems is not enough employees, as we were told, they didn't have enough employees, that's why we did the premium pay. They got the employees, but then they only had 9 children. But now in this one, they're saying they have a wait list of 5 kids. I don't, it just, I'm just having trouble following, like, I want to find what's the problem, is the problem employees, that they have a huge wait list, or is the problem not enough kids, like, I'm very unclear on what exactly the problem is.
It's more so the employees that they have can only work in, they only have certain areas for each kid, and then the kids that they get wanting to enroll, that area is already filled, and so then they have a wait list for like kids under 3. And that's that's where, and then they need more employees in that area, but they can't neglect the kids 3 and over when they have the other employees. And so you can only have, I think, it's 1 employee for every 5 kids, like over 3, and then I think if the younger they get, you have to have more eyes on them because of their needs and stuff. So I think they're trying to find that balancing act and also just getting out of, they just had such a difficult couple of years with losing employers and all that stuff, and then losing the kids that are there and then trying to build it back up. And then it's just a big balancing act. And I think they're really just trying to work out everything that is being there. So I think that they're reaching out to the city of Craig to get help with them while they're still working on the balancing act that's needed for daycare.
It's been, as long as I've been on the council, it's
3
been,
years.
it's been an issue, and then the 4-to-9 ratio just really stood out to me, because I was like, I mean, 4 employees and 9 kids, like, I'm sure one of those employees probably spent some office time doing admin stuff, but that ratio is.
That's, I don't think that they're all.
I've been on this council for
No, they're
18
not.
years, and I've been at meetings at this place for 18 years before that. And this daycare has done nothing but cost the city money. They have never made this daycare work. We have paid money over and over and over and over. They don't live up to their agreements. And whereas our employees aren't getting extra freaking pay. Our employees have been going without, 7.5% cost of living increase this year alone. And our employees haven't gotten a penny. I'm having a real problem with
I'm
this.
just trying to wrap my mind around what the problem is, that I want to have a good daycare, and then,
But it's not the city's business.
but it does serve the city's interest to have a good daycare.
And we provide a
Like a
building
good domino.
and other daycares make money that have to pay rent. And we give them that for nothing. But, this has been going on since.
But I mean, without a daycare, then you don't have employees for other businesses, and then the city isn't making money on that sales tax that the other businesses pay because they don't have employees, because we don't have childcare. And I think it's, once again, a balancing act or the domino effect of, I don't know, as a mother for sure of 3 and almost have, and reaching out just to the daycare recently about getting my kids in there, because if not, I wouldn't be able to run the business that I have. And then I'd have to shut down, which decreases my sales tax for the city, and they would be collecting on that.
Yeah, the state laws with that too are really crazy. You can only have a certain amount of patients per people, and I mean, you jump through hoops to run a daycare. I did home daycare for 10 years. It's really tough. And they don't have 4 employees there full time for sure. They're open more hours than a full time. They wouldn't have lunches and whatnot. It's definitely, it needs to get back on its feet, but it's not.
The last like good head person they had was, I mean, my head, but John was his wife. Yeah, she ran it for a long time. And I mean, she
Yeah,
did well. And then since I've had my oldest daughter, which is she's 8 now, I've seen how many different heads rotate through there because it's just so hard to keep employees. Because of all the hoops that they have to jump through. I think if the city has the help, well done, that I would really suggest helping them, because I feel like it benefits. them.
Well, and it's not that I'm opposed to helping them, I want to find what the problem is and fix it and then move on. And it seems like, I don't know, it seems like it keeps changing, it's either the employees or no kids, I'm just having trouble following it. But I've never run a daycare, so.
Seems that every 6 months lately, we've been having to throw money at it, and it's really, you know, every time we do it, we say this is the last time, we end up doing it again. To keep it, because we know daycare is critical.
And then they're more than willing to give you guys a walkthrough and talk to you about what they are, so if you want. I mean, I've gone up there and talked to them and stuff.
I have a volunteer for, I could always use help, yeah, problem solvers.
Already volunteering.
Russell, you want to volunteer for that?
Not this month, though.
Guessing we fund the whole thing?
I mean, when the funds, but you're gonna put it all together, just because that won't work out, but I can be copied out, which is fine. But
The council can certainly, if the council members are, it's not going to remove the day from the total. Just need to repair back and vote on it, and then
I'd like to do that, and I'd like to have the engineer explain to us what's going on again. Because they're supposed to, I don't know, are they still giving us the monthly reports and the stuff that they were supposed to be doing?
Quarterly, they're supposed to give us quarterly financials.
I thought they were supposed to do it monthly, but they owe us money. I mean, we paid their electric bill, we paid this, but
I haven't seen any recently, but it's looking for, it's not been on my radar, so I have to look to see if it's made in the book. I'm also happy that the council wants to invite the Childcare Center board in to answer some questions at the next meeting. The council can certainly amend the original motion to remove the premium pay, and we can put it on the next agenda for further discussion for just that portion of it.
I think that's what I would like, it's not that I'm opposed to it. I mean, at this point, we put so much money into it. It's not that I'm opposed to the premium pay, but I would just, it would put my mind at ease when I'm spending the city's money. If we had like a plan, like if they could tell it for me, okay, currently we have this number of employees, 3 are part-time, 1's full-time, we have 7 kids, with this money, we're gonna hire this person, and then we can take on 6 more kids and we'll be self-sustaining. Like, it'd be nice if they could just kind of give us an explanation. And then I would feel like I'm being more responsible with the city's money.
Jenna, you've been talking to these people, is there costs? That's your price, what you're gonna have to pay, put your kids in there.
I mean, it's up there, but, and that they don't have a lunch program because they haven't used that. But, I mean, I pay nighttime sitters.
Well, we have 2 people here at the office who have kids.
I mean, I have a kid from high school that comes at night because the daycare isn't open till 3 a.m. in the morning, and I pay them a lot. And it's hard to put a price on when they're watching your child and making sure they're okay, you know? So,
And the feedback I've gotten, it's somewhere between $4.50 and $7 an hour, depending on how many hours your kid is watched, the age of their kid.
and there's a lot of good funding out there to help pay for your kid to go to daycare too.
Yeah, there's some kind of tax credit too, which that would be my husband does.
Mike,
I agree with what you said. I think that splitting the motion, and asking information on the premium pay, I can go with that, so I would ask,
Move to move
I move to amend
remove the premium pay.
the motion, that I will do that. And ask if the premium pay part be on the next agenda with the daycare center people here to answer questions.
Second. You need a second on that? Did you make that
For
motion?
second, we have to confer. Is that right?
Yes.
Whoever second, we have to confer with what I just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
we have the amended version.
think this would be just a vote on the amendment. And vote on the-
All in favor of voting on this amendment, positive, signify by aye.
Aye.
Any negatives? None? Okay. Second vote, voting on funding the repairs to the daycare center. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Hold on.
I'm trying to schedule, and so we'll still need to address ordinance 745.
Actually, Kathy,
Oh, that one was under consent. Okay, that was the first one. Thank you.
You might straighten it out, man.
Certainly not.
She got it all straightened out, even if she really messed it up.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody's here to keep me straight. Good deal. We have no new business. Council comments. Mike?
I do have one request, basically, just Spruce Root, which is affiliated with Sea Alaska, and it's for entrepreneurial small businesses and developing new businesses. They are working with some of the significant federal funding that has come to all states to work with small timber operators and develop new programs for timber operations, specifically towards young girls. We passed since council, we passed a letter that supported initiating or supporting young girls development. We also passed a resolution. And what simply voted to pass them in support of the, I would ask if they just submit those two letter and resolution description and the entities facilitating and supporting this development effort. It's basically just submitting them on our behalf. I would ask the Brian letter, maybe we continue to support the concept of developing small operations.
The lady that's on the Fourth Street.
Axelrod.
What's her name?
Tessa Axelrod.
Yeah.
The executive director of the AFL.
She's requested that if possible, we reach out to the small mill operators up in the Thorn Bay area. We don't have any here currently that I'm aware of, except for Fred Ensign up in possible. We'd like some input from them on what they can do and how much, what their needs are. That and would like to have a meeting with them at some point if we get everybody together and start looking at feasibility of small, what they could do with them, what the potential is. So if you know any of those guys, we can reach out to them. We need to get them in there and have a meeting and get this initiative, because I know the university was willing to put together a survey group to do a feasibility study for small. You guys fit into that category. So, reach out to them guys, if you know any of them, but I really don't. Right.
Come by night, we can talk about it. Tessa and Bruce Root, and there might be a big help in the middle and small operators.
I've talked all about it.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's a general interest. I listened into the state had a timber meeting here this last week, and it was online, so everybody can watch. I watched it. And there's clearly a recognition for should be taking steps to start to initiate and look at what this will look like. Engate Held, the new state forester, he even suggested something along these lines of, it's time to, maybe we start getting people together and try to, envision what our next step forward is. And so I concur with all that. Maybe, I would say maybe rather than, it's us doing it, maybe this is almost something that would be, we could combine. I know the city of Thornton Bay has an interest in this. I talked to Mayor Steve last week. But I think maybe the compact level would reach out and see if there's an interest. I asked about a year ago. I didn't get out there, so I continue to think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd like to reach out to all the small operators, and all of the islands, wherever they're at, Thorn Bay, Coffin, wherever. Doesn't matter. If they're like to get involved in this, we can show that they're involved. We can pursue it with the state and with Spruce Root and the Alaska to help fund these guys to do some research on cutting small logs. Make it work. So, but I just don't know who to contact to the point. With the smaller operators.
I know, some of them, more than most of them, I'd be happy to continue to work towards facilitating this. I've talked to Tesla, I've talked to Steve.
Maybe get their names and stuff and maybe get them all together and have a meeting here. Craigers, Powpack, Texman, or wherever. Somewhere, get these guys all together and have a meeting with the state and Spruce Root and us and hopefully get something going here. Get the university and everybody involved, as well as state forestry. I think it's long overdue. This will help. So if it gets moving it. You can help us by reaching out to them guys. Powcat can help too.
Yeah, okay, scheduled for a meeting, be the fourth Tuesday this month. I don't remember the date.
If you got a list of contacts, you can contact the operators. Ask them to please come. Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, that helps provide some information, Mark. I'm happy to
Yeah.
facilitate both on the Powpack side and
I'm happy to know that. In the meantime, though, is it okay for the city to send the letter and the resolution just in support of? The reason I'm asking that is Spruce Root in this phased request for financing to do these kinds of projects. They're at a deadline this coming Friday, and tomorrow's for that. And so we're basically submitting something we've already approved. So
Yeah, we can do that. And then also contact the Forest Service and ask them for 25 million to start promoting these kind of programs. Because Powcat and everybody could use a little assistance from them. Way into this, and they need to put up all they, they stop progress. So they want us to move forward with second growth and all this other stuff, and they need to step in and give us a hand, not just talk about it.
no, I understand. Actually, out of that 21 million, some of it is focused towards converting.
It's supposed to be,
Right.
but I get seeing it materialize.
I think people are still trying to figure out exactly what that looks like. And I think this meeting that you're suggesting we're working on, I think that's part of what we're talking about.
Hopefully they do more just by the
I think an article in the Ireland Post would be a big help.
I know your husband used to work up there. He knows some of those people.
He knows a few. Probably the same people that might know.
So, and I think we're there quite a while.
we'll try to back to traffic control new resolutions and letters. So we have in support of that and put all of that together. You can get your contact scripture. Based on that, we send stuff to.
I'll certainly be around that for.
We'll put it on priority. So that we can, before your deadline.
They say Friday, we need tomorrow.
Next week.
Oh, yeah. It's good. We do that. So drop the
You guys
kids
are
off.
more than welcome to come down to the bar and I will put myself in as much as possible, but I need to be down there.
All right, any more? Council comments, go ahead.
Thank you, Mike, for your work on that. That's really important. So thank you. Two things. The first thing is I'm hoping, for the next meeting, if we can talk about the garden area. We discussed possibly running, electricity to the greenhouse and possibly expanding the next lot. So we can talk about that. And then, the second thing is the school. We've had a not major, we've had a noticeable turnover. 18% of the certified staff are not returning. Principal is, after 14 years, is,
Walk away.
been noticed. I will say I've been working closely, because I've had some stuff going on. I feel like should have a desk at the school the past 2 weeks, I've been there so much. But, she's doing a fantastic job closing it out. Like you would never know she was leaving. I mean, she's still hanging strong and doing a great job. So that's really nice. Sort of, I just want to mention that it looks like on the committee that's interviewing replacement principals, there's some good leads. So, hopefully we can get to the bottom of some things that are going on and sort things out well, but I just want to put that all in your radar. But my big area of concern is special education. And I presented at the last board meeting, school board meeting. So typically there is a SPED teacher for the high school, middle school, and elementary school. So there's 3 of them. And then there is usually a Title I, half Title I, half SPED teacher in the elementary school. This past year, the person that was hired for that half and half position, because there wasn't a middle school, everybody got kind of jostled around. And the half SPED, half Title I position was filled by a non-SPED teacher, who's a wonderful teacher, but it's because they're not SPED fault certified. That half SPED position just kind of went away. So it's put a big burden on Grace. She has a huge caseload of students, and she does. I have a kid that's with her, and she does a fantastic job. But now what's happened is the middle school and the high school SPED teachers have put a notice. So we lost the half position, and now we've lost the other 2 positions. So currently, the only SPED teacher we have is the entire pre-K. They do pre-K through the end is one employee who's got 3 years experience. I know Jackie provided some assistance because she's got a SPED background, most likely the principal we hire or not. So I did find somebody in the community that just got SPED certified, that's interested in the half position. I brought that to the attention of the superintendent. He is interviewing people for the middle school and high school SPED position. Apparently the superintendent also serves as the director of the SPED department, but he does not have a SPED background. I did too. So anyways, there's just some stuff. So I wanted to put it on no action, putting on your radar. I'm over there a lot. So we'll see how things shake out. Looks, it could all be okay. They are making progress, but it's in our radar.
You're correct, bring this up. As we sit down, with one another, I appreciate you bringing it up. This is a big problem. If you remember, I don't know the new guy, Adam, all I know is when Jeff was hired many years ago, it was a really nice open hiring. I was on the hiring committee, John Bowen was on the hiring committee, previous school board members were on the hiring committee, and now all of a sudden this new stupid board that they have up there that's in charge of helping get superintendents says that nobody other than a school board member can look at the applications. That's a crock. Nobody from the community was involved in the last hiring. Nobody. And they ended up renewing this fellow's contract in December with no prior knowledge other than that little bitty thing that was on the board at the post office, which you gotta go read that. You gotta take 2 pairs of glasses with you because it's such small print. But yeah, we had some problems with the school a long time ago, and Mike and I kind of dealt with it. And worried that we may end up having to go down the same kind of road.
When I met with the superintendent and gave him the name of the half-sped person that I knew that was gonna be available. You know, I was telling him, I don't know education. I've never worked in the educational world. I volunteered at the school and stuff, but I've never worked in the world, but I do know pharmacy. And I've seen it over and over again in pharmacies where you get understaffed. And then you ride your good staff really hard, and then they get kind of worn out and leave as you're hiring new people, and then you lost your senior people, and you know, these new people, and then they leave, and it's not for them. And very quickly, a pharmacy can spiral, and it can take years to rebuild. And right now, from my experience, I've got 2 kids in the elementary school, and they have fantastic teachers. And Grace Esped does an excellent job with the kids. I'm just, you know, I just want to see things continue well, because I've just been so pleased with my kids' teachers and the education they've been getting, and I want to keep them that motivation.
I've been to 2 of these board meetings, and spoke to the superintendent on these issues. One was the mask and shut down the school, and the other one was on his inability to fill these positions at 18% down on his staff is significant, and the city's starting to be concerned. And I brought it to his attention. And now there's talk of canceling sports, Troy Things leaving, and several other people. We're losing good people for some reason, and we need to find out what that reason is. And I have not got an adequate answer from that superintendent or any of the board. So it's something that we need to pursue and look into.
I will note that we're scheduled, the council was scheduled to meet with the school board April 6th. Primarily with discussion. Council is entitled to answer.
School board, that I'm gonna be opening up this can of worms, but I'm getting pretty irritated about it. It's getting- When he's running off good people, it's really starting to irritate me. These are people that have long standing in the community, and they've done well. And now we're gonna start leading students to co-op, like you said, and I know it's already from with the kids. And their sport program is gonna go completely down.
And that's what motivates a lot of kids to even attend school, is the sports.
So we need to get to the bottom of this. I told you we should have cut that check in half and only sent it half.
I don't know if that was the correct approach, but anyways.
Put
Put it on your radar. I'm down there all the time talking to people. I don't know much about the high school, but I'm down there. I'm talking to a lot of people as far as the elementary and middle.
Yeah, when we send them a $575,000 check, we get this kind of service. It's kind of irritating.
Yeah.
So I think we have the right to cut the check in half and only send him half. So,
Well, they want to understand at the next meeting when we say, oh, we only have to give you $365,000.
That was a half.
Yeah, the other game they keep playing is they won't ever tell us what their federal grants are. They won't ever tell us any of that. That doesn't show up in their budget thing. That's a whole different pile of money that we don't even get to know about. And that's what ends up causing so many problems, because they take money from the federal government, therefore they have to do all of these federally qualified things that maybe some of these people really don't want their kids to learn about.
Exactly. So there are concerns in the community at this point that need to be addressed at the next school board meeting that they have with the city.
Oh, for sure.
Really gonna be an issue.
And the funding for next year will be at least one of the primary points of discussion. And so it's a good opportunity, I think, for the council. That's the school board.
Guys, and that, you know, more.
Instead of stuff, you know, I'm on the school board, and
It is,
that's tough, you know, I can just say, it's tough, you know, the teachers takes a real commitment to do that.
Yeah.
Takes a special kind of person, you know, it's, and then as far as public process goes, you know, I didn't pay much attention to the school, but I do believe that asking a broader, you know, array of people on committees is critically important in any community, I don't care if it's a big community or small community, but including people in your hiring committees and review committees is critically important. And we need to broaden
it didn't involve us more in the hiring of the new superintendent and the fact that they had told Jackie Hanson that she could not apply. And I did go and speak to them about that, and they did reverse that, and they did allow her to have her chance. But the board made their decision, and that's their decision, that's fine, and I respect the board, but at the same time, I had my opinion. She's a local kid, she's well qualified, I felt, now she's leaving. This is not good.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank all of the council for your involvement in the different aspects of our community. And during this time at our city council meeting, we're able to bring items up. I mean, Chanel's brought up, you know, the speed limit. It may seem like something small, but it's very meaningful. So I just want you to know that I appreciate each and every one of you, you know, plus staff. I think our city goes up and beyond call of duty when it comes to our community. So it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you.
Yeah, once the staff, it's none of this work.
Yeah.
We do have a good staff. No doubt. Well, for a few.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Don't look at me.
Well, no, he was looking.
You? Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
See you. Thank you guys for coming. Take a couple of minutes.